of Edith Finch. I have never played this game before, so let's hope this goes well. I did not know that the game starts, so let's get started and see what happens.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
And hello to our ever so wonderful moderator. How's the audio for everybody? Is it okay?
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
A little bit loud. Let's see if I can figure out how to fix the audio. Okay, music's good, dialogue. Let me know if she's okay now. She should talk about the mailbox. No, speak. Stop it. Help! Here we go.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Can we pick them up? I want to pick them up. I guess can't.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
How pretty it is. Yeah, can I get a waterfall?
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Yeah, I thought she had me here. Turn the audio down. Hold on. Like that?
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Oh, look. Oh, hello. Hi there. Come back. Can I run? No?
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Oh.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it. As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
Can I go in here? No? Wait, I got a key. Wind chimes. Hello, wind chimes. Yeah, what was over here? If it's a spooky game, then we both in for a ride. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and apologize in advance. I had never played this game before.
I heard something moving around in the garage.
May I just say, get in the garage. Stick your head in that hole. I don't want to sit in that hole anymore. It's dark.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Oh.
The power had been turned off the night we left.
Then why'd you try to flip the switch? the door's open.
For the first time in years.
Open. Thank you.
I felt like I was home.
They got almost as many books as I do.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one. The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
Wait, y'all, you said you left this house when like 11. Just got food in the plates?
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Ooh.
Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
Sank? What was that? What's that noise? Anybody else hear that? Yeah, alright, I don't like this game. Ooh, box. Barbara. How do you... Oh. This better be a Jack in the Box.
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Wait. Did he build this house for Barbara? What was this?
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
Milton. I thought that was the bug from Rugrats for a second.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit.
Man, get someone to bust the glass in the door. Unlock it from the other side. I want to see what's down there.
A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Okay, no, they don't want entry in this door. If you didn't want me to go into the basement, you should have fixed it like this one. Because I'm going to find a way into that basement. Can't go upstairs. Move.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Thank you, then, Edie, because I want to see.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Okay, let's go with theater. Oh, there's more? What?
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
Oh, come on. Let us up there.
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Odin, I want you to move it so I can look at it. I heard peepholes. Where's the peephole? Oh, here we go.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
I'm gonna find a way into that room. I'm gonna find a way in all these rooms. The big book of homeschooling. Where was that when I was being schooled? Do you think the dates will be in... They might be... Stop looking at it. I want to see the date on the door. 1944 to 1960. Oh, here's more doors. What's this? Edie and Sven. The question is, will their birth dates or death dates be relevant? Calvin and Sam. Why is Calvin the only one that's on the door? Gregory. Okay. What's this way? I don't like that creepy look at the end of the hallway. Wait, is that an open door? Whose room is this?
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room.
Uncle Walter.
I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up.
Ooh,
Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Does it stay here? Oh! This better not be another key.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
What is this? Ah!
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
That was smart. Ooh, pretty.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Wait, my brother Milton.
Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind the door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Saving. Why is it saving?
I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Milton?
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here. Before my mom sealed the doors.
What's this?
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
They must do something to these rooms. I was about to say, so help me, she's about to eat the gerbil.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Is that food or droppings? I said a gerbil carrot. Yeah, I'm gonna eat the fish, right? Hello, fishy. No, I don't want to eat the fishy. Oh, light. It's dark in here. What's this?
My Halloween candy was all gone.
At least you got Halloween candy.
Mom, can I come out now?
Let me out.
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Man, let me out here. I ain't plotting revenge on you, lady. Ooh. Wait, we gonna eat
I
toothpaste?
kept eating and eating.
We just ate straight toothpaste. I'm not eating the fish.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Those ain't even real. I say plastic. Don't ask me why I just looked in the toilet. Nosy.
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
A birdie! Hello,
It was
birdie.
a barn swallow going back to her nest. I
Hello.
reached out for her.
Really?
And suddenly, I was a cat.
Well, this kid dreams stranger than I do. Come here. Okay, now where do we go? I don't even know. Oh, here we go.
I I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Then why are you chasing the bird? Oh, I'm a cute little kitty. Yeah, try like that. It's dark. Can I go up? Nope. Can I go this way? Huh. Aha! My stuff. I can't see. Like, I really can't. Bird.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me.
She doesn't even have a face. They probably wonder why there's a cat on their window seat. Birdhouse? Where'd that bird go? There it is. Okay. Now what? Oh. There we go. Hello, bird. I go for the eggs. My little egg thief.
The babies were all gone.
Well. So I need to go for the mama bird? Where'd she go? I need to go for you. Quit running from me.
I jumped and I almost got her.
You're telling my cat.
I could tell she was getting really tired.
Are you kidding me?
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird.
You're a mean jowl. So good. Are you tired yet, bird?
I gobbled her up,
I got the bird!
and suddenly I was an owl. First,
Hey, moderator.
then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass.
I'm your favorite animal.
Rabbits.
I don't want to eat a bunny. Run, little daddy!
I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons.
What?
I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find
Man, this kid's sadistic. that, so help me. What are we looking for?
A mama rabbit.
What is it with this kid wanting to eat rabbits? Hey, I got choking.
She
Great
was
owl.
almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop
Little
eating.
girl have mama issues. That's why.
And suddenly, I was a shark.
In a tree. Because why not? Oh. I'm a land shark. Ow. I'm stuck. Help. I'm stuck. Oh boy. Where am I going? Help. Get me to the water. Oh,
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever.
I about got hit by a car. What's that? Cover duck. Hello, tougher duck. Fish. Well, you came at the right time. We're playing as a sadistic little girl that wants to eat mothers. Let me guess. Mama seal?
Juicy seeds.
Mama seal? Is that what you are? Give me the seal. How come the owl was easy? I know. I don't want to eat seals. I love seals. Stop going down. Go. Someone play the Jaws theme music. Here we go. Get the seal! Again? And Duck, I know you've played this game before. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to eat a seal! Get it? What is it with this sadistic little girl?
And it tasted really good.
Where this little girl's going? The animals probably came for her. Yeah, you really did. Come here. I want to put you out of your misery. Stop going down. Okay, I
Wrapped
think we
on
got
tight.
it.
When I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water.
What are you now?
When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
I'm a vine. Do I eat a bird? Mama bird? I hope this song ain't copyrighted. Where am I going? I'm a tentacle! Oh, here we go. Why do I remember this part?
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Let me guess, I'm gonna eat a mother. Duck, this game is weird. Oh, hello, sir.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
That scared the ever-loving crap out of me. Okay, this little girl is sadistic. Straight up sadistic. I didn't know this was a jump scare game.
belly with a rusty razor, to his belly with a rusty razor, to his belly with a rusty razor.
I'll show what we do with a drunken sailor. Let me get over there. Alright, sir. That's what we do with a drunken sailor. Thank you for your patience, Captain. Captain, my captain. Bird, you're gonna run. You're a mom bird, just stand in his hands. Music too loud. It's about, that music's about to be over.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I saw something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it.
Real quick, let's turn down the music. I wish I knew what was wrong with this little girl. She's mean.
I slithered
She's
onto
not
the
just
sand,
mean, she's
and the
evil.
good smell went into an old pipe.
A smell in an old pipe. I wonder what that could be. I don't like where this is going. I don't know where I'm going. Oh, this door. Are you just gonna go ahead and eat your mother?
I got closer and closer.
I'm back in my room.
All my stomach started growling.
All of your stomachs?
And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
Demented little girl. Got it.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
Did y'all hear that? It's a kitty!
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly.
I want to see the cat.
I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
The death date was 1947, looks like it.
Her room was like a museum.
What is this?
For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Oh, that's sad.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind.
He brought his house?
But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea.
You should have tried to bring your house across the ocean.
Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery.
Is that a person or is that a grave? I can't tell.
His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house.
Okay, why does this guy look like Al Borland? That's not. Isn't it? Yep. Well, glad you're off of pause.
Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Let's hope it's the earplugs and not the audio. Last thing I need is more audio problems. There's a birdie on the door. Okay, so it's just the earplugs. Oh, glad you were able to join us, Duck.
One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity.
72-year-old woman refuses to evacuate because of a little forest fire. This woman is a beast.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't.
I wouldn't have either.
Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
What kind of floor is this?
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
I don't like this. What was that? Just keep it.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Oh, that is so cool. Oh, here we go. What's with all these creepy black and white photos? I don't like that start. Oh, hello. I think she is pregnant. If she's not, then I apologize. But I think that's what I heard.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin,
Oh, can I move this?
and that he never talked about him.
Can we go upstairs?
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
I better not start eating a mother bird or something.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
I got a broken leg apparently. Why can we only swing a little bit? Swing!
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did.
Okay, we're starting to swing a little further now.
At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Yeah, you think? You got a broken leg.
Sam, Calvin, dinner's ready.
I want to fly.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
Well, why I can hear your
I told
footsteps,
him
but I
going
can't
around
see.
was impossible.
I'm a fly. I'm a
Maybe
fly.
if I hadn't said that,
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
maybe if the wind hadn't
They
picked
want
up,
to.
then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
Where'd I go?
I think he'd already made up his mind.
I'm in the tree.
That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Oh, I did it!
The day he made up his mind to fly.
I'm
And he
flying!
did.
Look at me, Ma! I made it! At least this is easier than little girls.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
I think we all tried to do that at one time. Is there anything else I can mess with in here? No? Okay.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Then why are you
Mom
messing
said
with it?
Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Oh, what's this? Ooh. What do we have here? Don't like this. What is
The
that?
passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Oh, I can go back? Let's go back. Okay, I thought that was a headless doll.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
My friend Bigfoot. Okay. Barb Street. Man, this kid was extra. Penelope's Diner. Oh. Here we go. Dreadful stories.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Comic book? Pumpkinhead!
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break,
Rude much?
she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
That probably
was
wasn't a fake
Barbara's
scream.
father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror.
Yeah, that sounded
What if I
frustrating
tried...
to me
A
too.
gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, tell that to everyone so someone
20
who breaks
minutes
into your
later,
house knows exactly how to
Rick
get down there.
hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Oh, this is gonna be a jump scare, isn't it? Anybody else hear the Halloween music?
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
This better not be copyrighted. How do I turn off music? We turn the music off. Just turn it all off. There. I ain't taking any chances. I would have to have a heart attack if something jumps out. How do I... What is that? Why can't I swing? I don't like this. Can I please? Can I hide? I want to hide.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who
what?
impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Man, I don't like scary games. What is this? that I can't see. Here we go.
Oh, Finch rattled and grew still.
I have a crutch.
Oh dear!
Hit it!
Oh!
Rick?
You crap!
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your screen.
Well, I'm gonna hit you with the other
I'm not
crutch.
scared, Rick.
I am.
Furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
Mad?
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was
bend it
still
over your head.
holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
I think I'm coming up. Where's the stairs? Walter. 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 I don't like this.
Walter, are you there?
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police described the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
What?
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
Hello.
And funny he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Is there a way?
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
Weasel through.
Right. She played her part beautifully.
Yeah, I can't either. And this kid's just... I don't trust him.
She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it.
I can.
Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
Hiya! So long.
He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
Call the police. Do something. What are you doing, lady? Hey, if I turn around, he ain't here. And he's gone.
The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
I guess I gotta answer that.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Is this some kind of Halloween party that I don't know about?
Oh dear.
Yep.
Bravo, Barbara. You were wonderful.
The monsters had come to surprise her.
Really?
For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. myself. But
that's a scream.
I hear Barbara was magnificent.
She doesn't look scared, though.
Girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time.
You little coward.
He took it all pretty hard. But that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her.
No, he can't.
Her ear.
Is the ear still in the box?
I call a real eerie tale.
Such a 99-cent dad joke. So that's another one down.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
With the ear in the music box?
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Oh, I guess I gotta go downstairs. Okay. Why did it just load like that? That'll help. Yeah, no lie, when I first heard that music, I thought my phone was
Mom said the
ringing.
basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
Packages?
I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
Oh, this is a door.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Why is it dark?
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
Got something from Walter.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years.
30 years?
On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule. Living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow.
I have no idea.
But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
Well, my little chef hit the floor again.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
I don't want to just sit here and eat canned peaches.
And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
Or maybe I got tired of you just sitting here eating peaches every day.
It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting.
Yeah.
I have to leave. While I still can.
Get me out of here.
I know it's out there, somewhere.
Are we going?
Whatever killed Barbara. And Molly. And Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day. Even if it kills me.
So, are we free?
Whatever's out there,
We're on a train track.
I want you to know, I'm ready for it. I'm go a week. I'd be happy with one new day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Really?
Walter died when I was 6.
Why, Walter?
I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
Yeah, he did.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
He could have got off those tracks. Why did you get off the tracks, dude?
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding. I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe 2, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
And we're back outside.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family. And the history you're a part of.
Where are we going? Going in the water? Nope, guess not. Guess we're gonna go this way. Up here?
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Oh, there's some stairs. This game is so dark.
And when you look at the house, it had that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness. any of it seems possible.
Open the gate. So we left the house just to go back into the house? Oh, what's the deal here? Oh, this is me how I get there.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
Apparently yours.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
Pet cemetery?
3 of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
You don't need any more gerbils.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
So is Sam still alive? I don't see anything on Sam, unless he's up here.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away. She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Oh, is that the house?
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
That's so cool. How'd I get off this thing? There we go. Oh, here's something right here.
But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Guess we're gonna write down?
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Milton, Lewis, Sanjay, Kumar. I can't even know. Kumar? Probably looked at that.
There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know anything about this verse. Look at this.
But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Okay, so she is pregnant and she's in a tree. Get out of the tree.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common. They were both pretty intense.
Okay. What's your name, sir? Ooh. We have photos. That is terrifying. What the?
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm?
For you.
Perfect.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything? It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it?
Alright, everybody, you ready to be blinded?
Please just take the damn picture.
Where are you?
Hey, language.
I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit.
Say cheese.
Okay, got it.
Blind.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
Hey!
That's a keeper.
Should have been taking some photos of me.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
Man, mind your business. Okay.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin. Man, that was a great trip. Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish, how to build a fire. We found an old logging trail with deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don.
I want to picture that with a bird. Okay, now we'll get near.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Where is she?
Dad, I...
Just breathe. Turn off your imagination. Focus on your target. Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be strong. Great shot, Don!
Stop me!
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Well.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
Nature said no. Okay.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Are you the deer from the pictures? I guess we go through the door. Yes, no. Okay, what do we miss? Over here? No. You literally have a stuffed cat? kind of stuff, squirrel? You monster.
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Open the door. Okay, and that's terrifying in that crib. Like, that is just straight terrifying. I don't like it.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
What do I do with this frog? Oh, I'm the frog. Hey, move, duck. Yeah, I got hops.
Time to... Hold on, sweetie.
Did you leave me in the bathtub?
Hello?
Mama, Mama, don't leave me. I'm a
Sam,
frog.
I told you I don't want to talk right now.
Oh.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like.
Oh! I got a clan! Give me the last one.
He reminded me so much of Calvin.
Oh!
Lost in his imagination.
Huh.
Whatever it was he saw.
Huh.
It sure made him happy.
Whoa! Okay, so I need to...
I know how
that.
silly
Aha!
it sounds.
Freedom! Get on the whale. Launch me!
That I worried about a baby
No!
being too
I
happy.
don't want to go down here. No! I want to get back up there.
But I could feel him slipping away.
No! Ow. Oh, hello.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night. I wish you could have told us. About the world he saw.
Oh crap, no, no, turn the water off. Turn it off! It won't
There's
turn
so
off!
much I don't understand. About Gregory.
I'm a frog.
About everything.
God, it's ugly.
But I know what
We
happened
rendezvous with the
wasn't
whale?
your fault. I'm sure he's happy.
Wait, no. I don't want to go. No. No!
He'd want you to be happy too. Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Well. I thought I found that murderous frog earlier. Okay. Right.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Wait, have we ever met?
A poem for Gus,
Have we met this kid yet?
who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife.
I want to hit her in the head with my kite. Where is she? I want to hit her with the kite. How do I find the next set of words?
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
So I'll think about all this.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
You need to tell me I'm flying a kite in the storm.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Oh yeah. Bye, Ken. Oh crap.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Did I get hit by the tent?
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
Okay, got a mohawk. Okay, so we still need to find Lewis, Milton, Dawn, and Edie? Yeah, poor Gus.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Oh, so she was up here?
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Okay, so wait, is she Dawn?
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Aww. Oh. Still climb down this? there still something there that I missed? Well, what did I miss? Can I go back? Yep. Okay, so climb. Oh, here we go.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later. When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go.
No,
I'm
she
sure
needs to
Edie
be
was
on the
happy to
ground.
have her back.
Open.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal. But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
I like his rug.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Can we get this way? Yep.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family.
Ooh. I like this guy at work. I have no idea where he went. I guess we go to this thing.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Here we go. Oh, this is cool. Oh, that is so cool.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
Why'd you draw Milton so weird compared to the rest of them? Man, justice for Milton. Where did he go now? Can we go back down? Oh, here we can.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
Okay, switch back.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
Did y'all kill him? Like, what happened here? What y'all do to Milton? Okay. There we go.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself. After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Everyone always told me to stay out of Lewis's room. Except Lewis.
I guess we go this way. So let's go. It's a boat. Does he live in a boat?
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
I wonder why it smelled very, very familiar.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
He's probably hoping the family curse wouldn't carry over. I can't say I blame the guy.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Was it?
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Okay. Oh. Okay, so I gotta be careful not
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
What is this? Dragons. I found the dragon.
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Hello, dog. You gonna follow me up here?
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick.
Hello. Who are you? You gonna follow me?
Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band.
I'm gonna end up losing a hand, aren't I?
And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished.
Sometimes it's nice to have an imagination.
He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Okay, so I gotta...
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis.
Really, my dude?
He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
Oh, hello. Do you want a fish? No? Okay.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
beautiful prince or a handsome... I want to know what a handsome queen is.
handsome queen.
What does that mean?
The queen was on her own quest for...
What's the sinister serpents?
Sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her silver harp.
Where's my queen?
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
Is this my queen? Don't run from me.
He knew
Come
the
back.
world was all in his imagination.
Too many fish coming out at once. Is this gonna be where I live in
But he
camp
was so
because I can't
proud of
see
having
the-
created it.
Okay, I got something for you. Guess what?
In his own
Let me in.
eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Find my handsome queen.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
What? I still got my pants? Oh, I still have my hands.
He began to forget the world we know.
Oh, I hope my queen isn't a fish.
I think it pained him to remember Louis, the cannery worker.
Is that her? Are you my queen?
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
No, you're me. You're me. Oh well.
I
I'm
still
off to
thought I
greater
could save
things.
him. even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder.
So long, suckers. I'm out of here.
The palace would be packed with his companions.
Why don't any of them have faces? Where's y'all's faces?
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
Where's my queen? The wise Calico. Revived by a cat? Where did I go?
His queen waited, holding his crown.
I like that color she's wearing.
There was only one thing left to do.
Chop my hand off in the cannery machine. Right?
Bend down his head.
Wait, what? My hand. You can have my hand. You can't have my hand. Oh, I guess you can. You ain't have a face.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Well then. Well.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Okay. He might have been cool, but he wasn't very careful. What's that? Cigars. I thought it was going to be off with his hand, not off with his head.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
Really?
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Well, it wasn't her fault.
I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Slipping on packaging peanuts or something?
What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
Birds? Origami birds.
Maybe it should have come sooner.
Edith. Is this my room?
But it had to end one way or another.
Is this my room?
All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Yes.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now."
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
I'm gonna go find my present. Okay, so the present.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house.
Can I find this? No?
Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
What? Why would you do that?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
Ooh.
That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years.
Ooh.
God, it smelled awful. No,
But it did.
I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Look at the ground, Edie.
I got turned around.
Man, I was going the right direction. Oh, stick by this rock.
I started seeing things.
Wait, come back. I need to follow you. I don't know where to go.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
Where is that coming from? There it is. This is creepy. Okay.
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try.
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
And it's gonna go!
I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
You old bat, you left Grandma.
After that, we moved around a lot.
Hey.
We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by.
Do I just shake it around until I'll let it fall off?
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly.
Well, they went all with my little dandelions.
She got better for a while.
Yeah, did y'all see that? They left Grandma.
And then I was alone. The last Finch
Granny,
left
come back.
alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
What's going on?
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Oh no! Wait, we died. Story by Giant Sparrow for Shirley Dallas. Oh. Guys, that story was good. And we got a trophy. Everything ends. Oh, is it going to take us through everybody's room? Or the ones we found, probably? I think we ended up missing, was it 2 family members? Is there a way to get back to the menu, or do we have to watch the credits? Wait, did we find everyone? Do we hit OK? That was a really good game. And looks like we found everyone. Well, I don't remember finding Dawn unless she just wrote her down when we weren't looking. I don't know what to say. I did not expect that ending. I really expected something else. But I guess thank you all for following us on the journey of what remains of Edith Finch. If you enjoyed, you can follow us on Twitch. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our newly revived YouTube channel, GamerGives54, on every platform. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and follow, like, comment, subscribe, join the conversation. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, I really hope so, because I expected none of this, but I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day, or, well, I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their night by now, or it might be day where you are now. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow with a surprise game that I am very, very excited to play for you guys. Not sure what time it'll be up, but it will be up on the Facebook page whenever we get decided on our time. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone, and bye-bye.